The Rogue One prison colony is named after Obi-Wan. For not being a traditional episode, Rogue One begins with many of the familiar hallmarks of a Star Wars film. From the title being in big yellow lettering to the appearance of a planet and ship among a black expanse of space. The planet is the prison colony of Wabani. And if that name sounds a little familiar, okay. It's because it's an anagram of Obi-Wan, Anakin Skywalker's master and mentor to his son Luke. It was specifically intended to bridge the gaps between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. I saw Rogue One in theaters with my boyfriend when I was in college, and I was always so tired in college, and I actually fell asleep during the movie. When I woke up, my boyfriend was like, "Oh my gosh, this was the best movie I've ever seen." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I was sleeping." But I would definitely watch it again. I love that it's just like tells the story like 2 seconds before the original movie. Number 24, fact/Easter egg. Number 24. Starkiller Base is named after Anakin, taking place of the evil empire to become a new face of evil is the First Order. Taking the place of the dreaded Death Star is a new superweapon appropriately called Starkiller Base and embedded in the middle of the planet 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 of the planet. The Starkiller name has its roots in the original Star Wars trilogy when George Lucas first began to tell the story of Anakin Starkiller. In the Rebel Alliance, his name would eventually change when Luke was made the protagonist and Anakin's story was saved for another trilogy, and the violent surname changed to the more heroic Skywalker. Yeah, I knew that Starkiller was the original last name that George Lucas was thinking of. I also chose this article because I feel like I've watched a few ASMR Star Wars facts videos, and a lot of them are like, Yoda was supposed to be Gaz's monkey. And I feel like I know quite a few random Star Wars fun facts from ASMR videos, so I want to dive a little deeper into specifically Easter eggs for this videos and for the true fans out there who wanted to learn a little bit more about the series. Number 23. The director/producer cameos. From the original Star Wars trilogy until now, directors and producers have been appearing in cameos in Star Wars films for decades. a cameo. I don't know if it's in the I guess it's in the prequels because he directed the prequels. And I think his daughter too. Number 22. The origins of Radis. Star Wars fans may have noticed while viewing The Last Jedi that the ship that Admiral Holdo commands, the last large frigate the Resistance has to its cause, is called the Radis. The Radis, the Radis, the Radis, the Radis. This isn't by accident, but an homage to an important character in Rogue One. While the members of Rogue One are down on the beaches of Scarif, transferring the Death Star plans from the Imperial database to the Rebel ships above, Admiral Radis is the only ship that answers their radio transmission and begins to download the plans. He is skilled in action, but not before transferring the plans to Princess Leia. Fact number 21. Dara's Cassie first appeared in a PlayStation game. Yeah, now these are the Easter eggs I love. When you know that the movies and shows and stuff are made by true fans that have played all of the video games and the comics and include stuff like that into the movies for like the number one true nerd fans. Those are the Easter eggs I love. In Solo, a number of Easter eggs include nods to the expanded universe or Star Wars Legends. One of the most notable is the inclusion of martial arts fighting style used by Han Solo's old flame Kira. It was first created for a Star Wars PlayStation game from 1997 called Star Wars Masters of Terrascasi. It was the first time Lucasfilm has ever released a console game, and the creative team decided on a combat game a la Street Fighter. It features very many well-known characters, along with lesser-known, who use Terrascasi in their hand-to-hand matches. I love Kira, the character in Solo. She is badass. And I love the way she spells her name, Q-I-apostrophe-R-A. That's such a Star Wars way of spelling it. Next fact slash Easter egg. Number 20. Lando's Diaries. One of the best parts of Solo was learning about how young Han Solo spent his smuggler days. This included running a crew of space pirates and gamblers, one of whom was Lando Calrissian. Lando lost his beloved Millennium Falcon to Han in a friendly game of sabacc. Prior to turning his ship over to Han, Lando would record his escapades in a digital diary. The stories he referenced were 3 real-world book titles about have started reading then from number 1. Maybe there's a part 2 on the way of this. 19 is L3 bonding with the Millennium Falcon. The Millennium Falcon. Oh, I think I already know this one. The Star Wars films are filled with many lovably eccentric characters, several of them non-human. Some of the most beloved are droids with big personalities. Solo introduced L3, Lando's personal bodyguard and shipmate, a spunky female droid with the thirst for violence and adventure. She even leads a droid revolution in the film. Oh, and they do the droid fighting. Sadly, this takes a tragic turn and L3 is wounded beyond compare. In a last-ditch effort to save her, she is bonded with the Falcon, giving it an internal AI. C-3PO even talks with her at Han's request in Empire Strikes Back to determine what repairs she needs. I think in the fact I've read before, C-3PO in the original trilogy says like the Falcon is like the most unique dialect, and then it's like the backstory is seen in Solo with L3. Number 18. The Falcon cameo in Revenge of the Sith. I'm looking at the picture. Oh my gosh, it's so small. From watching Solo, we know that Han had quite a few run-ins with the Empire in its early days. But 19 years before The New Hope, he would have been a teenager on Corellia and not winning a Sabacc game with the YT-1300 Corellian freighter as the prize. Yet, we clearly see the Millennium Falcon in the docking bay of Coruscant, when Anakin and Obi-Wan return from rescuing Chancellor Palpatine. Oh, this is in Revenge of the Sith, yeah. Solo co-writer John Caston did say that prior to Lando's ownership of the ship had already been around for decades, and no doubt still in the smuggling business. Number 17. The Imperial March used for propaganda. Solo takes place prior to the events of Rogue One by roughly 7 years. Damn, there are a lot of Solo/Rogue One tie-ins in this article. The Empire has already occupied hundreds of worlds, including Corellia, and made its tyranny known throughout the galaxy. Stormtroopers patrol the streets, cargo bays, and docking bays, making sure all citizens operate under Imperial law. When Han Solo and his girlfriend Kira attempt to escape from the squalid conditions on Corellia, they tried to head off-world by going through the official customs depot. All around them are holograms featuring Imperial propaganda, while John Williams' famous Imperial March, originally conceived for Darth Vader, plays from the overhead speakers. I thought that scene was cool. He was like, I'm on. Manu. Han Solo. I bet Han Solo's name had probably a Legends backstory as well. Number 16, number 16, number 16. The fate of Red 5. Though Luke Skywalker would be the pilot to make the call sign Red 5 famous, it belonged to another rebel fighter, Veteran Gall, who flew at the Battle of Scarif at the end of Rogue One, part of the Mussy Group, the largest cell of the Rebel Alliance. Gall flew his X-Wing fighter out of the same Yavin 4 hangar Luke would in A New Hope. Observant fans would have acknowledged the check-in Red 5 standing by bittersweetly. It would be the last contact Gall had with the Rebel fleet before he was shot down, leaving the vacancy open for Luke. I wonder if Red 5 was the X-Wing that Luke was still sporting in The Mandalorian. I had seen some spoilers before the season finale that were saying that Luke might come back into the series, and then it's like they're locked into that room, and somebody's like, oh, one X-Wing were saved, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's Luke, he's coming. Number 15, number 15, number 15, number 15, number 15. E.T. phones the Senate. Yes, I knew about this one. Prior to the Empire coming into being, the Galactic Senate used diplomacy to include all species of the galaxy in a democratic resolution to problems and conflicts. The governing body of the Republic relied on the Senate to keep peace between worlds, especially when so many of them were so different from Eva pod in Watto's junkyard. I think this is gonna be my last one because we're halfway through the article. When Qui-Gon Jinn and the Queen of Naboo had to make an emergency pit stop on Tatooine, they had to prepare themselves for the bargaining culture of its locals. The parts they needed had to be procured from a junkyard, from a junk dealer named Watto, whose extensive collection of scrap parts was vast, but he drove a hard bargain for them. During the initial scene, when Qui-Gon is inspecting Watto's wares, you can see the Eva pod from Stanley Kubrick's 2001 film A Space Odyssey. Too bad the Jedi couldn't use it, but it was a fun sci-fi nod from the props department nonetheless. Cool. I hope that you enjoyed hearing those facts. I certainly